Right, we've got brand new Titleist driver review time. I'm going to test this driver up against last year's model. I'm going to test it on the course as well as give you numbers indoors, full tech. It's a brand new driver using a brand new, never seen material. They've never used this material. No one's used this brand new material before. So I'm expecting longer, straighter. They're saying it's longer than TSR2 was. We're going GT. This is always a fun time, testing new drivers. So I'm going to do 3 holes, 2 shots with each driver. Yellow ball is the old driver, white is the new, and we'll show you how they look on the course, like how far do they go, as well as showing you how far they go inside, collected with the launch monitor as well, just how different is old to new. So Titleist are telling us that this is a breakthrough for them. They're using a whole new concept, whole new design to allow them to do things that they've never been able to do before. So the new GT line consists of 3 new models, GT2, GT3 and GT4. GT2 higher MOI, GT3 and GT2 almost kind of really match now in shaping and looks, but GT3 offers a fraction more dialing control with center of strike, sweet spot, kind of putting that center of gravity behind your sweet spot a little bit with the dial on the bottom. And GT4 is offering that low spin, smaller head design that few people look for. It's definitely going to be the smaller seller of the 3. 2 and 3 will be where it is. Often for most golfers, GT2 is kind of where it will be. So it's the new thermoformed crowns. It's seamless crown that Titleist have developed, which is what all the talk is about. This is providing exceptional feel, sound, and the sound is different. We'll talk about that, as well as more speed and distance is what they are claiming. It maintains the classic look of Titleist. I would say 2 and 3 have kind of become to look almost the same, but at the same time you're still getting that classic sound and feel. They've worked with the sound and feel, even though we're using this new kind of rounded smooth crown, new material that we're finding, we are getting the unique Titleist feel and sound that good players do kind of demand in these drivers. They've redefined the aerodynamics, allowing you to hopefully to gain a little bit more speed, which we are going to test. And we've got the new speed ring and variable face thickness, so faster from the middle but also maintaining speed as we move away from those centered strikes with the variable face thickness. We see the same neck on all 3 clubs. We see a bit more dialable in the GT3 with that weight movement at the front. Think of that not so much as shaping as more lining up your center of gravity with sweet spot to try and just up that ball speed by 1 or 2 miles an hour. Think of the GT2 as the most forgiving, 3 somewhere between 2 and 4, but blending, like I say, with the 2, and the 4 that low spinning. So it's a lot of new with a lot of the same as what we've seen from Titleist, but it's definitely brave of them with a whole new material. There's the tech. Now they are all very similar. That is going to be interesting if there's much difference between them. Let's go and find out. So yellow ball there, the shortest. On the same line there, maybe 3-4 steps ahead is the white, so new, old. There's another white ball there, that's longer than the other 2 by about a yard, but the longest is there, up there by maybe 20 yards, the yellow in the old. So shortish, second longest, third longest, white, longest, yellow. Good dispersion, all quite tight, like none of them are longer. Like on course, this is where this is so interesting when you compare studio data to on course data. When you put the many other factors in, well, got 2 other holes. Let's see, is it actually any longer than the old? It's no surprise from Titleist how good this club looks in all of them. The GT2 I think stands out as maybe for me the nicest looking of the 3. The cleanness of it, the aerodynamic look of it, the wraparound new crown looks nice and seamless like they say. Tour inspired face as well. Now the sound is interesting because the sound is slightly different than maybe some models gone by. It's that kind of medium. It's right between that duller thud to that loud ting. It's right between, not as loud as I say a ping can get, not as dull as the carbon face TaylorMade clubs get. It's in a sweet spot. GT logo on the top looks really nice, and the shaping of these three clubs is really interesting. I think the 2 and the 3 shaping has come really close now, where they used to stand out maybe a fraction more. 4 definitely appears that smaller because it is that smaller head, but they present really nice down by the ball. You've got all those rounded shapes that you would expect from Titleist. I still think their neck is very good, like the functionality and design of their neck is super clever, one of the best necks out there in the market, but it's quite chunky still. I'm surprised they talk so much about saving weight, and we've got this new kind of lid and crown that's meant to be the best and all singing, but we've still got quite a big chunky neck. I would argue that maybe Ping's neck saves more weight than that, but maybe they're saving that for another weight saving release in the future. But if you like Titleist drivers the sound and feel of these is bang on point. Now this is interesting. So we've got a yellow ball here, and then we've got its equivalent there, 15 yards back. Now we do also have a white ball way back there, but I definitely caught that one thin. It's into the wind. It rised up, where the 2 yellow shots I hit more solid, where I hit 1 solid with the GT and 1 pretty average. So that one's an outlier. But there's a yellow one over here. So this yellow one is 15 paces past that yellow one, which is nearly 30 paces past the white one, which is basically behind my bag there-ish. There it is, just by my bag. And obviously we're going to outlie that one, because if I fin the old one, it's going to be back there as well. Q eBay searches for second-hand TRSs. Q looking at Golf Shop online for their old TRS 2 drivers. It's doing well, isn't it? Price is always a tough one with Titleist drivers. They can't be cheap. They can't be perceived as being cheap. They're excellence. They're used on tour. They want to be a brand that just breeds excellence, and that comes at a price tag. So I would say these are expensive. They're up there with lots of them. They're not more expensive than others, but they have to position themselves, I would say, as a premium brand, and they do. All the drivers' prices at the minute seem crazy. These are the prices in your region. What do you think? Loads? Not? I mean, I get it, but they just have a dedicated audience that they're going to sell these drivers to. It might not be the masses, but the committed audience, they will pay these prices, I guess. So the numbers are super interesting. These are the top end of my ball speeds and carries. They're good, healthy numbers. 2 and 3, I think you can actually dial them in to be exactly the same club. 3, maybe a fraction less spinning in certain settings, but I mean, I would dial them into where I want them to be, because I want those clubs to be maxing out. So I wouldn't get one spinning lower, because then you'll get a few longer ones and a few short ones. And you see that in GT4. GT4 is a lower spinning club. And what happens then is I do get some long hits, but I get drop-offs, making it inconsistent. I can't handle low spin. I've tried it in every manufacturer. I did it in my Strixon driver. I always run back to that more kind of the GT3, GT2 equivalent, often the 2 equivalent. Now let's take a look at the old v new, and this was super interesting, and we're seeing this a bit out on the course already, and we'll see if it continues. They're just the same. They're the same. I don't see improvements. On average, I saw 1 mile an hour extra ball speed from the older one, but it's 1 mile an hour in a standard deviation of 1.6. So they're crossing over. Launch is similar, spins very similar as well. Total carry and then total distance, like within yards of each other, like always within 3 to 6 yards of each other, with the standard deviations outside of that, meaning you see 3 yards further, that doesn't mean you're further. If your inconsistency levels meet the standard deviation of 12 yards, 3 yards further is going to be impossible to find unless you hit millions and millions of shots. All I saw was good performing clubs in the old and to the new. Let's see if we see any more out on the course, any more differentiating between the old v new. Right lads, test. We've seen how close they are indoors. We're seeing how close they are outdoors. I think 2 is going to be for everyone. 3 for anyone who wants that little bit more dialed in. You know, they really want that personalised. 4 for the person who just struggles with high spin, and it won't be many of you. 2 is the best looking, from my opinion, but they're all very good. It's hard to tell which one. I think 2 is where I would stick. I've ripped that. Is it so much better than what's gone before? I don't think any driver's going to be really They have to say it. Strixon will say it with their new release, I'm sure. Oh, they're two good dries, both up the right, so they'll cut a little bit. That corner down, oh, they could be long. It's an interesting sound. It does feel super solid, like super solid, and they're never going to be cheap. Titleist drivers are not allowed to be cheap. It'll be interesting where they all are. They're very similar, couple up left, couple up the middle right. Let's get up there and see. So old driver here, equivalent drive there. Let's say that's 2 to 3 paces ahead of this one. Very similar. This one actually ran up the fairway a little bit more. This one was more in the rough. The ones on the right, let's go over, but look, can you see them? They're literally equal. Maybe a yard, half a yard. So yeah, I mean, they're half a yard. GTs look good, feel solid. It's exciting they're using new material for them. I think this is making TSR2 look like a great value driver if they're coming down in price. Would I go for new GT over that? No. Would I go for new GT over a 5-year-old driver or a 6 or 7-year-old driver? I would definitely be testing. What do you think? Hit comments down below if you want to find out actually how to hit your driver further. This video's got all the information you need.